Hey, is this Shadur? Hey, this is Mickey Loomis here, the GM of the New Orleans Saints. How you doing? This is Mickey Loomis here, GM of the Saints.
How you doing?
Good, how are you, man?
Good, been waiting on you.
Yeah, we have. It's been a long wait, man. We're going to take you with our next pick right here, man.
This ain't gonna be nothing to you.
Hey, but you're going to have to wait a little bit longer, man. Sorry about that.
What does that mean?
What? What'd he say?
I don't know.
How you gonna ask us what it mean and you was on the phone?
You heard that?
You said you're gonna have to wait a little bit longer. Sorry about that.
Why did he call? What the
Hey, that's fucked
I don't know what that was. It's 50-50. But nobody got this number though.
It was private.
Did they just troll, bro?
It can't.
Man, he just got trolled, bro. They tripping now, fam. Now I'm gonna crash out, bro.
We got to talk about Shedeur Sanders. I wasn't really going to touch on this story, but I'm going to give my opinion on it. Okay? I have to give my opinion on it. I'm getting sick and tired of seeing the nonsense online. But yeah, for those of you that are unfamiliar with this story, Shedeur Sanders is Deion Sanders. Yeah, Neon Deion Sanders prime time. Okay? The great NFL player Deion Sanders' son, one of his sons. He has another son by the name of Shiloh, I believe, who I think he went undrafted, but he went to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, if I remember correctly. So both of his sons, who played for the college football team of Colorado, have made it to the NFL, which is great, right? Amazing. But Shedeur Sanders was supposed to go in the first round. He was supposed to be one of the top quarterbacks and ended up sliding all the way to the 5th round, I believe. And people were absolutely losing their minds over it. And I got a couple clips that I'm going to play for you here of some of these individuals who were losing their minds. And the first person I'm going to show you here is Jamal Bowman. Check it out.
I'm going to try not to get too carried away because I expect the Cleveland Browns to select Shedeur Sanders with the first pick in today's second round at the NFL draft. But like the way, the analysis of Shedeur Sanders, the way he's being discussed by pundits, is just crazy to me, man. Like, I keep hearing, oh, he doesn't have the strongest arm, or he doesn't have the athleticism that jumps off the page.
He doesn't.
So, like, last year or 2 years ago, we draft Anthony Richardson, who has all of that, but can't play the position. And Shedeur has everything else supposedly you need: toughness, leadership, intelligent, pre-snap read, post-snap read, anticipation throws, accurate with the football. He has all of that, but we don't draft him. And like,
so as you can see there, Jamal Bowman, the guy who pulled the fire alarm and didn't realize it was a fire alarm. We also have Skip Bayless.
So if it's not football, what is it? Are there racial undertones here? Racist undertones? You be the judge. Racism is so hard to sort of grasp and prove, but it just stinks. It smells of racist undertones, of too many white people in charge in this league who just roll their eyes at both father and son at Colorado.
Too many white people. Okay, Skip, I don't know if you know, but you're white too.
But we all know that they plant these certain reports or they say these certain things, and you do hear the word arrogant. Why is he arrogant? Because he won't walk into the meeting and bend the knee, or he won't sit in the meeting and question himself or his abilities or his knowledge and experience in the game. I don't believe that that's arrogance. I want a quarterback that's self-assured. I want a quarterback that could cut the film on, and when you ask him a question about why did you make this mistake, or why did you make this throw, or why was this the right read, I want him to be able to regurgitate that to me like he's in the play at the moment, the same way a coach or an offense coordinator would, because that's what he's going to have to do. And I've had conversations with Shedeur Sanders, and he can do that. We all know that it's not just about him being Deion Sanders' son. It's about the bravado he carries. It's about the fact that he looks a certain way. It is about the fact that the color of his skin sometimes at that position can be questioned. And I believe Shedeur.
The color of his skin can be questioned, even though I think most of the league is black. A good portion of the league is black. Most of the best players in the league are black. Literally, Patrick Mahomes, who he's technically mixed. He's white and black. But, of course, these race hustlers will call Patrick Mahomes black. So the best quarterback in the league is black, according to them. So, like, what are we crying about? Not to mention, in that same draft, the number one pick... Hold on. The number one pick in this year's NFL draft, a black quarterback. Cam Ward. Honestly, a great story, by the way. A great story with Cam Ward. But we aren't talking about that. We're talking, Shedeur, he slid 5 rounds in the draft. Yeah, sure. Maybe it wasn't his talent, okay? Some people might argue that it was his talent, though.
Hey, before we get going, you got to hear this bet. Yeah. So I come in and he's just talking nonsense.
Always.
Shedeur Sanders not going to get drafted in the first round because he probably saw a tweet that said a couple scouts doesn't have him as a first round grade.
That sounds like the
And I graded him.
Our bet, 1,000. You graded him. What do you know about quarterback? Nothing. $1,000 bet.
This dude.
$1,000 bet that he goes in the top 2 rounds. If he goes beyond that, Delaney wins.
What you think of that bet?
I think you're going to lose $1,000.
You crazy.
He said Shedeur's going to slip to the 5th round. Mark my words.
But this is an offensive line draft this year. A lot of O-line going to go. That's going to push a lot.
Offensive line draft every year, bro.
No, he not going in
a good quarterback.
He not going in the first
Give him a chance to take the
round.
bet back.
I ain't taking it back.
No.
I ain't taking it back.
He was so confident we shook twice on that bet.
Oh, shit.
Twice. He not going in the first round.
For those of you who don't know who that black gentleman is, that is Delaney Walker, former tight end for the Tennessee Titans. Okay, former NFL player. Literally said, "Nah, he ain't going in the first round. I'll bet $1,000 on it." Matter of fact, I think he's going in the 5th. Where did Shedeur get drafted? In the 5th round. So, like I said, some people may argue it is because of his talent. Me personally, I think it's a combo. Right? Is he a talented player? Could he play at the NFL level? Yeah, I think he could play at the NFL level. But the thing about it is, when you're how do I say it? When your bravado, when your mouth outperforms your on the field play, that's a problem. A lot of folks who watch sports know the name Cam Newton. Cameron Newton, former quarterback of the Carolina Panthers, who took the Panthers to the Super Bowl once. Giant guy. I mean, Cam Newton is a massive human being. I mean, I think he's probably 6'5", 260, right? He's a giant human. Especially at the quarterback position. He's more like a tight end playing quarterback. I mean, the guy was huge, massive. I mean, you look at Cam Newton in comparison to some of the safeties in the NFL, even some linebackers. Like, he's bigger than linebackers, which is just crazy, and he plays quarterback. Once your mouth gets ahead of your on-the-field play, you get cut. It just is what it is. It happens to the best of them. Cam Newton's a guy who took his team to the Super Bowl. Am I saying Cam Newton's the greatest quarterback in the world? No, he wasn't, obviously. Okay? Obviously. But could he play? Yeah, he could. I mean, he didn't take his team to the Super Bowl for being trash. You know what I'm saying? Some might argue his attitude, but when your mouth gets ahead of your on-the-field play, that's the type of stuff that happens. People don't want to hear a bunch of this, especially if you're not producing on the field like that. Now, if you're producing on the field, hey, go talk your trash. You got some of you guys remember a guy by the name of Phillip Rivers, quarterback for the Chargers. Didn't they move the Chargers team somewhere? I don't remember. Anyway, he was a former quarterback for the Chargers in the NFL. He was a trash talker. He talked a but he could go out there and ball. You knew Phillip Rivers was coming to play, so nobody cared about his lip bumping. So that's what it is. If you go lip bump, that's fine. Do that by all means. do a lot of talking. For me personally, it kind of motivates me when somebody talks trash to me. Like that just gets me going. Like, please talk trash to me. Get me going. You know what I mean? Like get me motivated. Let me know if some of y'all like that anyway too. But anyway, but like I said, that's a perfect example. Phillip Rivers. He was a trash talker. He was kind of brash. He was, some people might call him arrogant, but when it came to performing on that football field, he showed up every time. Was he the greatest quarterback ever? No. But he showed up to play. He showed up to play. You know he was coming to ball. And the funny thing about this entire story is Uncle Trump actually kind of got involved. Yeah, with the whole Shedeur Sanders thing.
One more. After the president's Truth Social post, the Browns finally took Shedeur Sanders. Does the president think he deserves credit for Sanders getting picked? And does he think going to the Browns is better than being undrafted?
Hey, all I will say is the president put out a statement, and a few rounds later he was drafted. So I think the facts speak for themselves on that one, Peter. We'll go to the back row in the middle.
And that is true. Uncle Trump posted this tweet, or this truth. What is wrong with NFL owners? Are they stupid? Deion Sanders was a great college football player and was even greater in the NFL. He's also a very good coach, streetwise and smart. Therefore, Shedeur, his quarterback son, has phenomenal genes and is all set for greatness. He should be picked immediately by a team that wants to win. Good luck, Shedeur, and say hello to your wonderful father. Simple. You know, he did get drafted. He did get drafted after that. And me personally, I do like Deion Sanders. I love the fact that he brings a Christian approach to college football. Some people might say, hey, well, you shouldn't be injecting. Hey, listen, I'm a Christian, so I love when I see a Christian bringing that to the football field. I absolutely love it. Do I think he's the greatest coach ever? No, but I'm not mad at him, right? I do think he cares about the players. I genuinely do believe he cares about the players that play for him, based on what I've seen and what I've heard between him and some of his players. Like if his players slip on their grades even just a little bit, he's like, nope, you're not playing, you're done. Get your grades right first, and I mean just a little bit on their grades, just a little bit. Or if they're late to class, right, they get punished. Like the football field is genuinely secondary when it comes to Deion Sanders and his football team. Wins and losses, like he cares about them, but the players matter more because he understands. And actually, I think there's a video of Deion Sanders talking about it. Hey, most of y'all not going to play in the NFL, and that's just true. Some people might see that as harsh. I love the fact that he told his team that most of y'all not playing in the NFL. That's a fact. That is a fact. So what you do in the classroom is gonna matter a whole lot more than what you do on this field. On the field is secondary. The classroom comes first. So, you know, me personally, I love that. I love that. That's a truth teller. That's not somebody who's blowing smoke up, you know, people's behinds or caring simply about themselves so they can look good on the field and get a bunch of wins, right? Because, I mean, ultimately, his coaching tenure is dependent upon wins and losses, right? So he could be like, I don't care that you slipped too much on your grades. Hey, I need you on the field, son. So you about to play. You about to play this Saturday regardless. He could say that, right? But he doesn't. So I respect that. And, you know, like I said, he's a man of faith, and I love that as well. So I can't. And he was a baller on the field. So the trash talking and, you know, hey, he could back it up. He could back that up. But yeah, man, y'all let me know your thoughts and your opinions on all of this. I think the race part of it is nonsense. It has nothing to do with Shedeur's race. His mouth just got, I feel like his mouth just got a little ahead of his talent, personally. And the way that this draft kind of fell out. And you heard Delaney Walker talk about it there. There were multiple factors that led to Shedeur falling. And not one of them, I believe, had anything to do with his race. There are plenty of black players and quarterbacks. The first pick was literally a black quarterback this year that are in the NFL, that have been successful in the NFL and have done some fantastic and wonderful things, right? So I don't buy the race thing, but what do you say? Let me know. Peace and love. I'm out.